Deer in the headlights. Oh, here we are. Hello, everybody. This is the Lynn and Cheryl Show. I'm Lynn Serrano,
I'm Sheryl Isenhour.
and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Hi, Cheryl. How are you today?
I'm like you just said, I'm cold. As you
Yeah.
know, I'm not a winter chick.
Yeah, I'm a little chilly over here too. But welcome to whatever Wednesday. Hey,
It is what it is.
it is what it is, and I love your. I've been learning to do the whatever is will be kind of thing, and I've learned that from you. Uh, so today's the topic for today, and it's funny because we were running late. We usually get together and spend a half an hour together, and it just didn't work out this morning. But I was
Some
like,
of us had to work.
yeah, and I was talking to Laura, and I go, I don't know what we're talking about today. So this is the 4 F's of life, and I wasn't even close. So I guess I could share my list, huh?
Go ahead.
The 4 F's of life. This is what Laura and I came up with was fun, family, focus, and forget it. And she's like, "You got one right." I'm like, okay.
You know, actually, if you want an honest answer, I saw this online. There was no credits to it or anything, but it was the 4S of life. And it made a lot of sense because a lot of times we don't practice a lot of these. The first thing, and then we'll go back and talk about them. The first thing is you need to find your purpose, and that's something a lot of us don't do. The next thing is to forgive your past, which is definitely what a lot of people don't do. Focus on your present and fuel your future. So if it makes it to me, it just makes sense, especially when you see it in print, because that's what it takes to get from here to there. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. But it is funny because I think people finding their purpose, there's just so much different definition you can take from that, and so most people don't realize what they have as their purpose really isn't their purpose. It's just a job that they fell into, or out of high school, go to college, and this is what you get. A purpose is something within yourself that after a while you realize that that's just an innate thing in you that comes out and becomes. And good morning, Michael. Nice to have you here. But the purpose, and people say, well, my purpose is to be a good dad or a mom or this and that. And so what I'm saying is purpose can be redefined in so many different ways. But so I like the fact that you brought up the purpose, because that's not a question we ask ourselves often enough,
You
because
know,
it changes just like everything else does.
and I'm sure maybe you don't, but I do. I sit there sometimes and, it goes through my mind, what was I put here for?
Mm-hmm.
What was
Oh,
I
it does.
born for? Have I done a lot of what was to be my purpose? Was my purpose to take care of little old people? Was it to help people? That's one way to look at it. And the other purpose is, what do you inside actually feel is the purpose? What are you reaching for?
Yeah.
Is I mean, am I ever going to be totally happy? Probably not, because there's always something just out of my reach.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we all need to do some internal visualization of your purpose.
Absolutely. And then the second one you have here is forgive your past. Now that's what a lot of people don't. People get stuck. They're living in their past instead of forgetting and forgetting a lot of things in your past or your experiences, and they've learned you lessons. Look at the blessings. And look at the blessing that you're not in that past anymore either. That's something to be thankful for. And so I think if we realize that forgiving and learning, the past is a past. We can't change that. We can only go forward and do better with the knowledge we have now. I mean, I'm for one of that. I mean, and then I like the other one, focus on the present. And we do need to focus on the present because if you can feel and know how you're feeling right now, it can help you get to where you want to go for the fueling your future. So, hi, Robert. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you got to look at it this way: the eyes are in front of your head. We
Yes,
didn't put even the third eyes here, so there's no eyes in the back. So quit looking backwards. Quit looking in that rear view mirror. That's what I tell people over and over. That rear view mirror is tiny.
for a
It's not
purpose.
made to show you everything.
And
And don't get up today dwelling on yesterday. Make today better than yesterday.
and what did the Bible say about her looking back and turning into a pillar of salt?
Yeah.
Don't
And
don't don't do that. You'll get real salty looking backwards.
and you miss so many days in your life by always looking at the past.
Mhm.
I mean, I have memories of the past. They've been allocated to where they need to go in my mind. Do I look back at my parents and stuff like that? Yes, I do. But I don't dwell on them. I make the important points my future, if that
Right.
makes any sense. But a lot of people just something happens to them and they cannot get over it.
Yeah. Well, in the past, I mean, I think I love there's a lot of memories that I cherish and I take forward and I'll continue to, forward with those memories, but I don't live there, you know. You can't live there. We change from there and going forward, what does it do for you? It
And
doesn't do much.
you can't live in the old memory, even though it's perfect.
No, no, but I mean, those are happy thoughts. I mean, I think if you're looking for a happy thought or a good memory, fine, but you can't live there because you're missing to make happy memories right now.
And I mean, we're done past 2 seconds ago. We
That's
can't.
right.
I mean, you and I can't even go 2 seconds forward half the time, much less 2 seconds backwards. But yeah, in the coaching and all, I see it happen more than anything else, and I get so tired of people saying, "Well, they did this and they did that." Okay, it's over. Is it something you can accept today?
Yeah.
And if you can accept it, if you can't live with the fact that you can accept it and go on.
Hi, Sandy. Thank you for being here. We are real and we're live right now with you here with us. So we're honored. But yes, that's really important is living in the now. Always Eckhart Tolle. I really enjoy that. You know, and fueling the futures, and it's funny because if you go backwards, fueling your future and focus on the present, or yeah, focus on the present and forgive the past and find your purpose, you can find your purpose by those things, just looking at all the things that have fueled you in the past and where you want to go now. We're not, it's sad that most of us don't realize that we're a prisoner of our own subconscious mind. And when we you can't free yourself if you don't realize you're a prisoner of it.
And how many people have you heard say, "Well, they control what I do"? No, they don't.
No,
You
everything.
let them control.
Yes, and just the same thing like Bob Proctor said. You got listening. You listen with our ears, and you hear with your heart.
And
And
that's why you have two ears and one mouth, is so you can listen more than you talk.
right, and
And
so it's just the simple things in life that we forget that can make a big difference in our life.
I mean, I like to sometimes on Sundays, especially because that's when I can draw back out of the world a little. And I like to kind of look back over the week and just pick out the things that made me happy, the things that worked. So if they worked, I can do them again. It's not looking in the past for anything bad. I like to reflect on what worked, what helped me get from there to here. And then more than anything else, what's going to get me from here to there?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Excuses. We are the key of letting ourselves out of the prison, which is funny because Brian and I are going to talk about excuses in our lives tomorrow. So it'll carry over. And I've learned to live each day for today while working for tomorrow in the last year where I nearly died. Well, we're glad you're here, Ted.
Death
Glad you're
will
here.
definitely give you a new perspective, or cancer,
Yes.
or something that's death threatening will definitely put a new lease on you. Uh,
Yes. Been there, done that. And I don't know how many times, we have to realize that we are blessed to still be here to change and write our own script, write how we want it to finish. And we don't realize the power we have. And it is sad that we let our environment control what is an internal thing, an internal battle that if we can conquer knowing that we can change what comes into our heart by thinking about it, but not letting all the things that come to you reach your heart and reach where it's a tender spot in your life that you can't change.
I mean, you need to take what comes in, you need to rationalize it, you need to
Right.
compartmentalize it.
Right.
And if you can do that, then that opens you up to forward thinking. I mean, if you want to do something, you've got to give up something and be willing. And it's harder to give it up than to get it sometimes.
Yeah. But that's exactly what I'm talking about is that if we could just realize that the things that we have hold in our belief systems from the time we were little, to know that we're not under our parents' thumb. What they did to you then has nothing to do with you now, unless you just, that's such an excuse and the blame game and not taking ownership for the, well, what have you done since you've been away from your parents? I mean, like,
I
after the
actually was at one of my class reunions, and one of the girls said, "Do you remember what she did when we were in the 12th grade?" And I'm thinking, I barely remember who was in my class in the 12th grade, much less what they did.
right.
They had carried that because her son has started dating his daughter, something like that. I forgot
Yeah.
the whole nuance of it. But she couldn't deal with it because of what went on to her in the 12th grade.
Well, and you realize that, it's like the whole thing with the cup thing. If you go to your master, I forget the whole thing, but the bottom line is if your cup's too full and you want somebody to fill your cup, you can't because you're holding on to things that don't, you can only hold on to so much and not retain new stuff. You got to release and let that stuff go so that you can get new stuff, and be healed from that stuff. So I think so many people are just, I don't know how I hope that a lot of people can break that. I mean, we need a lot more woken up people. I mean, get over the stink that you've been through and just join the other side. It's a lot of fun.
And bury some of those grudges. I mean,
Yeah.
just bury them. Go on with life.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's just like, I have a better life since I don't watch news. I hear through things through the grapevine or something. We got people that announce when somebody dies on Facebook or whatever. So I mean, I got reliable sources that keep track of that stuff, and I don't have to. But it really is something when we sit there and we go, we've got all those anchors of where we've been when we heard this or when we heard that. It's like, damn, get rid of some of those anchors and lighten yourself up.
Well, I'm glad Jerry enjoys the news for one
Yeah.
reason, is because he sees things that happen
Oh,
in the world and he can tell me the important ones. I don't have to listen to all the rest of them. So
right.
not, I'm not a news freak. In fact, I even took the things off my phone, the daily news little pop ups. It was like, it's not that I don't want to know. I want to know what I can
Control.
control or that I can contribute to.
Well, I know that when I would listen to the news all the time, I would really get emotional about the sad things that were happening in the world. And I'd pray for the world every time I'd hear these things, but it wasn't doing anything for my spirit. I mean, it would keep me down and suppressed, and I realized that's not healthy for me. So I have to release and let that go. Sometimes because I'm just empathetic, and I try not to be as such an empath by staying away from it. But I also realize I don't have to hear everything with my heart and let it go to my heart. And so I've been trying to work on that a lot more, so that not to desensitize myself, but to really say, okay, say a prayer for that person, but don't be loaded down with it. Don't be carrying all those burdens for other people. I do believe in miracles all the time. I'm always praying and believe in miracles. I mean, when somebody says they're on their deathbed, I'm one of the girls that sit there. Oh no, they they're gonna trick everybody. They're just gonna get up, or they're gonna live another day. And I mean, and sometimes I've been right, and they live for 2 weeks. I mean, I've known people that have been on their deathbed for a couple years. I mean, where they're just coherent and things like that. It's just I do believe that, now mind you, it's up to the person's will, but I do love sending, I mean, when I go by homeless people or anything, I mean, I'm always just praying for them, and stuff. So, but I just can't carry it all with my heart, because then you got to give to yourself before you can give to others. So it's made a difference.
Well,
And
and I just don't do it for a different reason than you. I mean, our
yeah,
personalities are similar, but we're a lot
yes.
different. Mine is more my D personality kicks in, and I want to go beat somebody. Not physically, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
You want to
there's
shake that. You want to shake the sense into them, I think, is
yeah,
what you're trying to say. Because
pretty much because and it's people I can't get to, so why waste my time on it? But that's when you're a control freak, let's kind of clear that part up. When you're a control freak and you know you can't control, you do your best not to put you in that situation. I mean,
right.
the news, there's nothing on there I can control. So I control the one thing I can, and that's not watching it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Now, if
So,
something catches my attention, I mean, it's like for me, the shooting of the people, and that I do watch some of that because a lot of mine's personal thinking, just trying to understand why or how someone could do that.
right.
Uh, and then I have to really be careful, like you, not to take all the hurt in.
Yeah.
So, thank goodness for personalities. I can kind of put my wall there.
Hmm.
The thing about it is we all do things for different reasons. We all
Right.
control our situations in different ways. Mine's called an off button, and I can shut it off. The good thing, I've been lucky enough to be able to shut things off if they needed to be.
Yeah. Well, that Bob Proctor is a 10-hour show thing, but Born Rich is really helped me to realize that, to compartmentalize your thoughts that come in and listen to them, but, you know, try to listen with your ears and not go into your heart. It's helping me to not quickly go to the sad or the negative part of a situation, but to pray and hope for the best. And even with the football player, number 3 Domar, there, that it just, you know we all prayed for a miracle, and it was just great to see that be a miracle. And i
I'm just
i think when everybody gets together for the greater good, we see more testament of the greater good that we can do as a human beings. And I think it's sad to see that when shootings or things are going on, that we have to get together then. Why can't we be together and united before something happens? Is beyond me. It's
if
just,
you can answer that question, sweetie, the world could change.
I know, but I think it when these things are visualized and people and it hits close to home, I think it's sad to say, but it takes those things for people to wake up, shake up, and realize, shit, their life isn't that bad.
Well, it's like
You know?
9/11. Everybody pulled together. Do you remember the camaraderie after 9?
Yes.
Where's it at today?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just
No.
not. Yeah, it needs to. We need to be collectively thankful when we see good things. It's like a child. they act up because they get more attention when they act up than when they're not acting up, and you praise them for just praising them for no freaking reason.
Well, a
You
lot
know?
of it is they act up because they don't get the attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not blaming parents because we all had to work. I did too. I mean, I was a single parent, so I had to go to work.
Yeah.
And but you still, my kids came out okay, but what time I was with them was quality time.
Right.
And it's not a blame on people. It's just the way it is. If as adults, if we don't get attention,
Right.
especially certain people, if you don't get that close attention, you go into God knows what happens out there. And so a lot of it's just the communication. You know me, 95% of everything that goes wrong's in the communication.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
lack of communication is just as bad as the wrong communication.
Right. And Steve says here, and it's true, he goes, I thought we would all pull together after COVID too. And it's one of those things where it takes a tragedy for people to wake up, help out, and then go their separate ways. And if we could just help out and be united and loved, then can you imagine if we were doing that all along and loving our neighbors all along, and then something happens? The ripple effect is not doing it because, oh, poor, whatever, but it's the reality of loving it even more and helping that person even more. We would ripple even, further than we are than just being at, the adrenaline at the moment.
Well, COVID took it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
For a little while, everybody's like, then all of a sudden everybody was bound home. They got mad. They got ill. And it was all, I don't want to stay at home. I don't want to wear the mask. I don't want to take the shots. I don't want to do this. Then and the other part, it inducted so much fear into a lot of people.
Right.
So none of us were sitting there after 9/11 thinking, okay, they're going to hit my house tomorrow.
True.
Okay. Or at least we were definitely hoping not. But the COVID, it was always like, okay, if I go out, am I going to bring it in? Am I going to give it to my mom? Am I going to, blah,
Right.
blah. And so it, as much as it should have pulled us together, like Steve said, I think it tore this apart more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because now we have children that have gone through periods in their life where they had no communication with other children.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think it'll hurt right now, but down the road, I think that's going to have a little bit of a ripple effect.
Yeah. And it's weird to say, but on March 26th, my grandson will be 3 years old, and he was born the day they told us our billings here that we had to stay home and everything. So it's like, it's hard to believe it's still 3 years and we're still talking about COVID. But again, it just I just want people that are listening to this and that are sharing this to know that, you find your purpose, forgive your past, focus on your present, and fuel the future. Because let's say you can hit COVID today and be in your bed, and that'd be the last of you seeing your life. And what did you do to enjoy your life up to that point? And then all of a sudden you're praying that you don't get it, or you get through this and you don't. I mean, none of us are going to get out of this alive. We know that. But, what's Jerry saying? We had temperature checked at our restaurant Saturday. Oh,
still checking temperatures in Charlotte in some of the restaurants.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I mean, the staff still all had masks on, which is
3 years later, we're talking about this.
But yeah, before we could come in the door, they took temperature. And so COVID's no more ever going to be over than the flu.
Yeah.
The flu, God, I remember the flu when I was a little girl. That was always talked about flu. They'll be talking about COVID when our grandkids have kids.
Right. So, but just keeping all that in perspective is just remember that do the best you can, live the life to the fullest you have now, and just be more grateful and more gratitude and love thy neighbor. Because we can't do this together without each other. That's the thing that I think you got to come across and realize that we can do it. We do it as a nation here, and the world's a better place when we all come together and than apart. Any final words there, Sheryl?
The only thing I'd say is wake up every day looking forward, and just go in that direction. If you have to deal with something in the past, make it part of your present and get through it.
And I want to thank everybody that's been here. I mean, we have some major rock stars and great people that we know that have been here, and we really appreciate you guys being here. It's nice to have this conversation with Sheryl. Sheryl, as always, you know I love you so much, and thank you for doing this with me. And we just want you guys to know, whatever you do, it's Wednesday. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Love you, Sheryl.
Love you too.
Bye.
You're like a circle that floats around.